All right, welcome back to the show. Nice to have you with us on a TGIF version. Rick Tittle with you coast to coast around the world on American Forces Radio Network. First hour, always joined by the film critic Jan Wahl. Janny, are you there? We're trying to get Jan Wahl, but we do have our first guest, and his director, Andrew Novick. He has a brand new documentary that is called JonBenet's Tricycle. Andrew, welcome to the show. Now, I think a lot of people hear this title and they go, "Oh, I don't want to go over the JonBenet case again." But it's not about that case. It's about the weird world of collectibles, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of twofold. It's about collecting and the value we ascribe to objects. You might collect something for your own memory, or something that was somewhere interesting, like a rock that was on the moon, something like that. So JonBenet Ramsey's Tricycle is something that I've collected amongst my thousands of things, and so that's kind of where the movie kind of enters. Is like, what's the kind of ethereal value of this tricycle being part of this horrific story that's been going on for 25 years now.
Yeah, and the term I hadn't seen before, but murderabilia instead of memorabilia. Have you ever, because I'm sure you've had friends that would say, why would you want that? And do you look in the mirror and do you ask yourself, why did I want this?
Oh, yeah. I a lot of things I collect, I look in the mirror and be like, what, this is twisted or this is weird. But, I mean, I definitely am interested in kind of the darker side of life and humanity and getting to, people's conscious and unconscious, why do we collect something, or why do we want a photograph of even of a dead relative? It's like a memory. So yeah, it's definitely maybe along the darker side, but it's also, crime scene, crime podcasts and unsolved crime web sleuths and things. That's like more prevalent now than ever. People were interested in JFK shooting and Charles Manson. Like, it's always been, weird murder scenes have always been interesting for people, but I'd say now more than ever, people are interested in it. So, why would somebody want to hear about this tricycle? I think a lot of people are definitely interested.
Yeah, I mean, you're right that especially on Netflix and Amazon, these true crime things, and even SNL did a sketch about why women seem to be more interested than men in a lot of these, the forensic files and others. But I mean, I think about, I don't know, it's going back to the 80s. Didn't Michael Jackson buy the Elephant Man's bones?
That's the rumor. I think that's a great example of like a weird power of an object. And so in this movie, we take the tricycle and actually some candy cane yard decorations that were in the yard at the time of the murder in 1996. We took those to psychics to see, could they derive anything from it? And I'm a skeptic of psychics, but we gave them a fair shot. So that's kind of interesting part of the movie. But it's also, this case has become pop culture. And so in our movie, we talk about, when tragedy becomes pop culture, and why is that? And what's the, like, that sounds horrific on the surface, but really it might be a way for us to deal with horrific things, is by, giving it like a little bit of a candy coating and like, just being able to manage it somehow.
All right, Jan Wahl has joined us. Jan.
Yes, hi, sweetheart. I'm so sorry. We're going to use this landline from now on, so we should be fine. So we are talking to the director of...
This is Andrew Novick, and I know you saw this movie.
I watched the movie. It is one of the most interesting films. This film is so interesting that I couldn't watch Jeopardy like I do every night. I had to tape it. I had to tape Jeopardy because of you. This is such an interesting film. I mean, it's so fascinating. You are really interesting, your whole collecting thing. But then you turn this thing into a study of fun, and also a study of this very important thing that happened with JonBenet Ramsey, and then a whole spiritual aspect to it. It's a most fascinating movie.
Oh, I'm glad you liked it.
Oh, I just loved it. And you are one interesting cat. Whew. I mean,
I try to involve myself in a lot of cool and interesting excursions.
Did you leave that bike? Do you know about this movie, Rick? Did you see it?
I haven't seen it, but I do want to get to the Japanese medical punk dance party at some point.
Well, he's in there. It's in there. I mean, he talks about that, too. This is really your kind of film. Anybody who likes eccentric, unusual, would really love this movie. I mean, I really want to tell a lot of people about it, because I have a lot of friends who really appreciate eccentricity.
What was your favorite part of the movie, Jan?
I think the whole journey with the tricycle. The tricycle journey. I mean, the journey is such a multi-complex journey. It's not just that it was JonBenet Ramsey's, it's that he gets into who really killed her, but also he gets into the history of the media. And, you know, I'm in the media, and I'm sort of the media. And he really explains pop culture. Don't you think, Mr. Novick?
Yeah, I think that's a big part of kind of my psyche, and also what I was trying to get across in the movie, you know, like, just as an example, you know, because I was taping the news. I lived in Boulder at the time of that murder, so I was very close to it, and I saw just the media circus outside the house, and, you know, Geraldo and CNN are all in Boulder. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I was taping the news on VHS, and luckily I saved all that because it was useful for the movie. But they would be like, top story tonight, no new news on the Ramsey case. Wow. And to me, that's exactly, you know, because they were anything that would ever happen, you know, like somebody dropped their wallet on the ground, like, you know, in the Ramsey case, like they would report on it,
right,
whether it was useful or not. And so even the fact that the top story was no new news tells me that there's something kind of fishy with the media.
Right. You really explain that, and then having the psychics come in. I mean, that just added to the layers of this. You really made a layer cake of fascination for me. Wow.
So, Andrew, what about the people who say, you know what, you're sick in the head, you in fact, encourage crimes like this? What do you think about, as the kids would say, the haters?
Yeah, I mean, no one has come out and said that, but I think that, you know, in our movie, we don't show any footage of the top pageants and JonBenet dancing around and all. I mean, I find that to be very kind of sick and exploitative. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And every news piece that ever talks about the case shows that stuff. So I would say my piece is less exploitative and more inquisitive about us as a culture.
Yeah, there's not a lot of exploitation here. What there is, though, Rick, he has this guy who shows up like Dr. Fauci, and he explains, you know, he's Mr. Straight Professor, and he talks about the theory of this, and not of the killing, but of fun and of inquisitiveness and eccentricity. So you've got this professor who's kind of anchoring this whole thing. It makes it most fascinating.
Well, I want to make sure everybody gets a chance to check it out. It's called JonBenet's Tricycle, a documentary feature film by our guest, Andrew Novick. Andrew, congratulations on the film, and thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for making this, Andrew.
Thank you so much. Do you want to learn about the Japanese medical punk dance party?
Yeah, 30 seconds. Go, my friend.
Oh, in Japan, they have a lot of, it's very interesting and weird fashion trends, and one of them was like fake injuries as fashion. And so you would have like a bloody gauze as a fashion piece. And so I got a group together, and we had a fashion show and a party, and we took lots of photos, and it was at like an abandoned hospital themed party.
Great stuff. Hey, Andrew, get that on. Make that a feature film, will you?
Oh, yeah, that would be great.
All right. Rick Tittle and Jan Wahl with you.
Thank
Come
you,
on
Andrew.
back on the other side.
Wow, what a movie.